everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant about the Russian Raid. It's a new movie. As far as I can tell, no connection to The Raid or The Raid 2, but in a similar vein, it is a martial arts action movie. But this one takes place in Russia, and you can see here, here's we have a prime piece of real estate. I'll say. The Russians are not politically correct, and that's why we love them. I'm not sure what the plot of this movie is. I think it's about some gangsters doing bad things, owning a house, and some guys who try to get revenge on them. And as you can see, there's tons of weapons in this. Just tons. Tons, Joan. There's lots of fighting in this one. But it's a different kind of style of fighting. Come here, Joe. You always got to be the center of attention. It's not like the very fluid Chinese or Japanese or Korean martial arts, but more of a rough, bear-like fighting of the Russians. I'm sure they probably got their own version of like Krav Maga or something. But you can see the characters pretty hardcore. There's this raid. They go in with the guns, and then they get in there, and it all goes wrong. And I guess there are some soldiers involved too. And attention, this is a takeover, whatever that means. So they go in there, and I guess these are some of the gangsters because they're all dressed in black. And then the gangsters fight back with their own private security force. Look at those guys. Look at those guys. That's a mean group of guys. These guys look like they should be level 4 of a video game. And the wacky ragtag group that fights them. See, there's swords fighting. There's axe fighting. There's this general. More guns. Is this crazy guy who finds a bunch of vodka. So you know what happens when the Russians find the vodka. It's just nuts. I guess she's a bad guy if she's saying stuff like "Bring me the leader," but I don't know. This guy in the suit, he's like a lawyer. He's in on it too, and this is a bad guy. He has to fight some guy who wants justice, and you see there's more fights there, more guns, more axes. I mean, it's just nuts. It's just, you see people dying. I have no idea what order this is in, but I think this is one of the final scenes. Is a gritty knife fight towards the end, explosions, Russian raid, and then more. You know, they try to do some comedy. This turns you on. And there, you know, maybe some love interest, I don't know. And then this guy, and more sword fighting. It's just nonstop action. So I'm down for it. I mean, I don't see much of a plot here, but my guess would be the first act is the setup, and in one of the foreign martial arts films, the setups tend to be very low key because it's just like, let's get to the action kind of thing, because they're more action oriented than they are story driven or personality driven, you know. So our movies are different in that way because you'd have probably some lead actors who you would immediately recognize, and they would want to put their imprint of their brand on the damn thing, right? So you can't just have Chris Tucker or Jackie Chan in this role. You got to give them lines, you know. You can't just be fighting the whole movie. Whereas these guys, they're kind of more like the old time studio, you know, players, where they work for the studio, and they may not be getting nearly as much money as big international stars, so they got to work harder. They got to entertain more, so they got more action scenes, and they may all be stuntmen. I don't know. So, yeah, the first act's a short introduction, gets to the raid. Second act's all about the fight, and then probably some big turnaround in the middle of the movie where some of the gangsters join the guys in the raid, and they have to team up to fight the, I don't know, the third worst thing, which is the soldiers maybe. And this guy's looking for justice according to the trailer. I don't know what that means. Probably he's avenging a family member or something. So yeah, I mean, I would see it simply because it's a Russian martial arts film. I haven't seen a lot of those, so I think it'd be cool to get some insight into Russian life, on the outskirts of this movie. And plus, you're seeing a different style of fighting. You're seeing the Russians fight, and they're going to bring to it something totally different from a cultural perspective. And they're tough guys, right? I mean, the Russians are tough, and they're a little bit crazy. So I think this could be a very fun movie. I think the action looks decent. They're not highlighting any particular action scenes other than the sword fighting, but I think they probably got some good stuff going, from what I saw. So yeah, the Russian Raid. I don't know when this is coming out. There's no date on the movie. So, I don't know. Look for it somewhere. It's 2021. It's got to drop this year at some point.